Welcome, everyone. This is Eretmis Cyber Chat. We do this every Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. And tonight, we are going to continue our conversation that we started last week, the discussion on how to bridge the gender gap in the security space, the cybersecurity space, information security space. So we will continue. We had a very nice discussion last Friday. And because we had so much to go through, we decided to do a part 2 today. So you are all welcome. I appreciate everybody's time. I know is Memorial Day, is Labor Day weekend, and you still chose to be here to join the discussion and to share the knowledge and to develop ourselves professionally. So we are getting started here. I'm Dr. Emmanuel Edu. I'm going to be a facilitator for the Cyber Chat. I'm the CEO of Eretmis Inc., cybersecurity consulting firm based in New York, and a PCI QSA company. And I'm also the founder of Eretmis Academy. And we do this every Friday to help contribute to the knowledge, the body of knowledge in the security space, and also to help develop our Eretmis family and our community as well. So tonight, we will be looking at some cyber news during the week, and then we will jump into our discussion, and our panel will take over, and we will go through. Michael will go through some of the questions that we had last week, and the discussion will continue from there. So we are going to jump into our cyber news. But before then, we have our Labor Day sales going on. It's 30% off on all our courses. If you go on our website, you can use the promo code Labor Day 23, and you'll be able to get 30% off on any of our courses that is on there. Our next PCI class is going to start on the first week of October. Is when the next live session, so you can enroll and start going through the online version of the course whilst we are waiting for your cohort to start. And then for anyone who's looking to get into cybersecurity, if you have some background or no background, obviously our cybersecurity entry-level course is also a good starting point to help you from where you are to where you can start working as a security professional, right? So our first cyber news is about Labor Day. So there's a research by one of the companies within the security space. They did their research, and they are based in California. It's a security firm, cloud security firm, and their findings. One of their findings was that about 85% of employees who have the opportunity to work from home or do remote work, almost 100% of such employees will be working from home during the Labor Day holiday, during the long holiday, that is a 3-day holiday, Labor Day weekend. So because of that, there's also the rise of threats, phishing threats, Labor Day phishing threats within this period. So over the weekend, so like Monday, Tuesday-ish, that Labor Day phishing attacks will be on the rise. So we have to be on the lookout, right? So this is not just for folks who can work remotely from home, but when holidays like this are coming up, attackers will always tag on this to send out maybe some promo for, shopping here and there. So just be on the lookout for such attacks, right? And most specifically, if you are working out of the office and your company is not completely remote, you're not working completely remote, right? Chances of maybe attackers taking advantage of that and sending you emails, making it look like it's from maybe your manager or your boss or somebody else that you have to react to, is also high, because you're not there to directly go ask them, hey, was this really sent by you? Or maybe you might not, reach out to them before you really react to this, right? So this is something that is also in the news. It's kind of like a caution to everybody, just to be on lookout for Labor Day phishing attacks. And our next news is who is on the news: NASA, Verizon, and Tesla. So there is an organization called the National Safety Council. Unfortunately, they've been breached, and the breach resulted in over 10,000 emails and passwords of their members. And their members include government agencies and big corporate agencies like Tesla, Verizon, and government agencies like DoD, NASA, and the rest, right? So this National Safety Council is a non-profit organization, and they provide training on driving safety, like driver safety, and some of the tips and tricks on safe driving. Right, so they have a very huge platform, learning platform that most of these companies subscribe to. Right, so their employees can go on there and use some of these resources and training. And they got bridged, and the breach resulted in the exposure of emails and passwords from most of these big companies. Right, so companies will just simply have to take security more seriously and make sure they are putting in place layers of defense to help prevent such incidents from occurring. So what you don't want to do as a company is to be one of the statistics. So now you are always going to be in the statistics of big or huge breaches, because now it's not just the National Safety Council. I'm pretty sure not everybody on here even knows what this organization is, but everybody knows NASA, everybody knows Tesla, Verizon, right, and the rest. So because they got, their data has been exposed through this company, they also put themselves way up there on the map. So companies will have to invest more into security professionals and security solutions to help protect the organizations and help prevent such occurrences from happening. So with that, I think Michael is on here. We are done with our cyber news for the week. I'm going to turn it over to Michael and Sheila, and they are going to continue with our discussion last week. They are going to be the co-pilots spearheading the discussion from last week. So if Michael is here, Michael can take it from here and start going through your questions. So we can also introduce our panel again. I think I've seen Cynthia on here. Sheila, also one of the panelists and also kind of part of the MC. And then we had, I think we had like 4 of them, but I'm not able to see everybody. So if you're on here, please you give us thumbs up and you let us know. But then the discussion is also open to the whole entire floor. Aliko is here. And so we are going to continue with the discussion. So Michael, if you're on here, please go ahead and take over.
All right, good evening, everybody. I hope everybody can hear me. This is Michael here. So before I go through the questions for tonight, pretty much try to continue where we left off from last week. Can I have a confirmation for our panel members? Just making sure everybody's here before we go through. So if Sheila is here, can you give us a thumbs up, or can you say a word? And I believe Cynthia and.
Oh,
yeah, good evening.
Yeah, go ahead, Cynthia.
Good evening, everybody. Yeah, this is Cynthia.
All right.
I'm representing live and
Nice.
colors.
We got Cynthia in the house. There you go. Do we have Sheila in the house?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, Sheila in the house, and who else? I think Ileko too.
Yes, Aliko is here.
Yeah,
Yes, I'm here.
All right, nice. Well, yeah, we'll just go ahead and get it started, and please feel free, like Dr. Du said, it's an open forum. So if you have any contributions, please do not hesitate to raise your virtual hand, and I will give you the platform. All right, let's kick it off with our first question for tonight. So a lot of women say they don't know about jobs in IT, or specifically cybersecurity, right? So most women say they don't know about jobs in IT or cybersecurity. So from your opinion, how can we spread the word better, or how can we reach out to our female populace?
Hello.
Yeah, Brian. Can you hear me? Brian?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead, Brian, please. Go ahead.
Yes. I think one reason is because cybersecurity is still, in a way, a young field. The internet didn't start until, when was that, 1990s or something like that? So cybersecurity came later on. Now, if we're talking about nursing was way before cybersecurity, and it was, talked about so much, and the healthcare field and things like that. So I think it's just one of the reasons is that cybersecurity is kind of new, because before cybersecurity, you had computer engineering and, computer science and networking and things like that. So I believe one reason that a lot of women may not know about it is because in a way it's still kind of new. And then also through families, no one's usually saying, okay, go to school, get a job and and get into cybersecurity. A lot of the families are saying, go to school, get a job, get a job in healthcare, become a lawyer, become a doctor, become those professions. So I believe as we get more toward more years of cybersecurity, that more women will come on board. But we have to find ways that we can let them know that this is possible now and not just later.
Wow, yeah, thank you so much, Brian. Any other take from other people?
Yes, I'll come in with my what I think. I think for us to get more women to know about is it cybersecurity?
Yes,
Was
cybersecurity, yeah.
oh,
Cybersecurity and
okay,
IT in general, yeah.
and IT in general. Okay, yeah. I think what we can do is to showcase successful female engineers or like technologists, those who are already in the role, like we are doing now. Like when we have open forums and other programs like that, we need to showcase more of them so that others too, like the other women out there, will know that it's not just a field for men like some of us used to think, but now women are in it, and it will encourage others to join. And then this comes also, it falls also back on parents. We need to introduce our children, like the females, to this STEM education, because when you start from their infancy, it helps a lot. It broadens their mind, it arouses their curiosity, and they tend to gain interest in it as they grow. Because to be frank with you, if all of us here will tell the truth, most of us here are in this field because of the money, or some of us are trying to leave the job that we don't like. But it is not that the interest was there from the beginning. But if some of us were introduced to it at an early stage, I'm sure this would have helped. So it falls on us now to do that. We need to introduce it to the younger ones so that they gain the interest in it, and by and by, they'll also influence other female women to get in the field. So in the form of role models, and then early introduction to our girl children, females in the house, it's gonna increase the popularity amongst women. Thank you.
All right, Cynthia, thank you so much.
Can I jump in?
Please go ahead, Sheila.
All right. So on my side of thinking, I think by word of mouth also will help. Aside from adding the kids and everybody, we all go to churches, we all go to schools, we work, all those places that we meet each other. I think word of mouth always helps. Everybody that we meet, if this is the intention that we're trying to bring more female like myself into the field, we can start by talking about it. Like really IT, no, I wouldn't do that. But getting more understanding and more knowledge of it made me understand that, oh, actually, this is possible. So the same explanation and the same encouragement, if we give to each other in terms of our women, I, for once, everywhere I go, every chance that I get, if I see somebody that shows a little bit of interest in a career change or anything like that, I will take that advantage of encouraging them. So I think if we do that, that will help encourage our sisters and mothers and whatnot to come in.
All right, thank you so much. I think we have a lot of hands up. So can we start with Jasmine? Yeah, if you can hear me, Jasmine, you can go ahead and contribute. Yeah.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Edu. On my part, I think that we should have like women empowering women kind of groups, and then once we have the groups, but before that, we start with our household. No matter the number of people, like for us right now in the group, maybe we're like, I'll say 56. If we start with us from our household, siblings, children, then we go to like women empowering women kind of association, and then do some kind of fun activities like barbecue with women who are already like IT pros. They made it through the career, because people only believe in people who have made it. And then we do such type of things. I think it will encourage like the female gender to join the IT, because they will see that it's a successful career and women are making it. That's my input.
All right. Thank you so much, Jasmine. So we'll start with, we'll continue with Ileko, then we'll continue with Ryan, Awini, and also Phoebe in that order. So Ileko, Ryan, Awini, and also Phoebe. Thanks.
Yeah, so I think one of the main reasons why we have fewer women in cybersecurity is it's one of those areas that are hidden. So when you go to a company, you see things happening, and part of what's happening is IT, but IT is not visible. So it's not very easy to be like in people's mind that, okay, there's this field here that I could, think about becoming part of. But as, over the years, even though it's not visible, people hear about it because of things like breaches or things like, what do you call it? Like when we have people that steal other people's information and use them to, break into their accounts, then people begin to familiarize with there's actually a way to prevent this. And, there are people who are paid to do this kind of thing, like either reduce these kinds of incidences and so on. So I would say one of the reasons why there aren't too many women, number one, it's not a very visible career in terms of you visit an organization, do you see IT? No, you only see the effects and of, let's say what they are doing. Maybe you go try to find a wireless connection, and then you realize, oh, these people, I can't connect, but you don't really know what happened before you are not able to connect, if you're not IT savvy already. And then also, I think I'll agree with one of the speakers who said it's about sharing with other people. So unfortunately, until we have enough successful women in IT, meaning your relatives, your friends can see you are successful as an IT person, it's hard to convince somebody, oh, join IT, it's a good field. So it's also imperative on the women who want to spread the word to be sure that somebody sees you as successful, able to navigate this world without encountering, too much resistance in terms of the people already established in the field. And then, of course, the final thing, I would say is, as much as we want to say that, yeah, women should encourage women, I've actually found it much harder at work when I'm seeking help. I found women are just not, and it could be maybe me, my personality, or I just don't know how to ask for help from women. I have found men tend to be a little more lenient and, give me that extra attention I might need. to get a project either wrapped up or finished or work through a struggling, an area I'm struggling with. And again, I'm not saying this is all women, it just happens to be the places where I've worked. I have found that to be a problem for myself.
All right, thank you so much, Eleko. So yeah, Ryan Harvey, please, you can go ahead.
Yes, thanks a lot. Some of you all triggered an idea in relation to thinking about the parents and the young daughters, if you will, in the space. It could be a possibility that parents that are already in, say, military or police work, we could probably imagine that they may not want their daughter, or in some cases sons, to be in harm's way, firing, avoiding bullets, if you will. And then a natural, soft, safe landing with a great future would naturally be cybersecurity. So you get the point. Their mindset is already within combating our enemies, if you will, our criminals. Hence, they get the importance, but it may be of interest for them to educate their daughter or son in relation to cybersecurity, i.e. fight the enemies, fight the bad guys, but do it behind the screen, if you will. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Ryan. Awini, please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Cybersecurity is offering such an opportunity, which is very convenient for the woman professional, because the woman professional wants to be able to take care of his home as well as take care of his career, her career. So to me, the very marketing point that we have to use is the fact that, one, it is convenience. You can, mostly if you are lucky to get work from home, you can perform well while still taking care of your children. So to be able to create this level of awareness, we have to create educational content that sells out this opportunity in terms of the convenience at home, working from home, as well as the pay stuff and the other associated benefits. And the fact that you can use less than 1 year to become an expert in the field is also another marketable tool that we need to show. And then when we are organizing workshops, talks, speeches, we should just take 1 minute or 2 minutes to sensitize those people who are there. We can go to the extent of telling success stories of women who have made it, or inviting female speakers to speak on events like that to encourage women, especially in churches and where women gather a lot, so that we encourage them. Whenever there is a young women conference at any place, anybody at all who has a knowledge, either you are a man or a woman, if you get the opportunity, sell it out. Then another thing we have to do is that we have to develop mentorship programs in any place at all you find yourself, to encourage the young ones to occasionally take 30 minutes to talk to them about what is happening in the technology world. Then you also encourage businesses that are operating security firms or have security to give the women the opportunity to do internship. That builds their confidence, and then to remove the stereotype that it is not a fault for the woman. So that will encourage. And the communities we live in, every community event, let's use this as a point where we can sell out. Every WhatsApp group you are in, sell it out, encourage them, and let them understand that it pays well. One, convenience, you can take care of your children and your husband at home whilst doing the work at the same time. And then you can do the good cooking stuff as well. You can even be doing a meeting whilst cooking on the stove. So to me, those are some of the points that need to be marketed to attract the women to the field. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Phoebe, please go ahead.
Yes, good evening, everyone. It's just a little contribution that I want to give, and then what I have experienced. I started this cybersecurity through my husband, who introduced me, and I wasn't willing to do it because I thought it's something that I cannot do. But I talked to a few people, and then I talked to Sheila and her husband too. And they encouraged me so much. Just the talk that I had with them brought out something in me. And I was able to go through those lessons and course very successfully. And now my 13 years old child can see and tell me that, mommy, it seems like you have changed. Now you can talk. So encouragement is very good. Let's encourage our women and bring out the power in them that they can do it, and that will pay off. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Phoebe. Mavis, please go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. I just wanted to give a little bit contribution. I was one of those who had the perception that IT or cybersecurity is just for men. I believe that is a man's job, because I have a sister who also didn't go for any IT school, but she can tell you everything about your laptop, everything about your computer. She knows so much about it. So I used to say, why? And when she got admission into IT in school back home, I was discouraging her. I said, come on, these are men's jobs. Why don't you go and do nursing or something else? And lo and behold, she went into it because she loves it. And she is, I'll call her guru, because she knows so much about IT. She knows so much about IT. And she is the one who is encouraging me right now to I joined this cybersecurity. I started from the beginners class to the internship, and I've developed that love for it so much. So I think if we want more women to come in, like the other speakers have earlier said, is going to churches, our communities, and let the women know that it is interesting and they can do it. As if I can do it, then everybody can do it. So that's what I'll say about this IT. If I can do it, then every woman can do it. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Mavis. Ahmed, please go ahead, Ahmed.
Good evening, everyone. Am I clear?
Yes, we can hear you.
Great. Thank you for the opportunity. I think by default, men and women interest is kind of differs. I think we're hardwired to actually function in different roles. And if you look at it in detail, you would realize that women are more interested in people. In fact, there's a research that actually confirms that. And men are interested more in things. So you realize that women are nurturers. They have patience. Most of the jobs in customer service, teaching, nursing, and all that proves to the fact that women are more interested in people and men are interested in things. So you find the mechanics, the masons, the engineers, and all that. So I think our orientation and the way we also brought up reinforces these things, because as women grow up, they're given dolls and other things to actually play with, and the men are actually encouraged, right? So right from the onset, men develop the interest in things related professions, whilst the women also veer into the people related professions because they get to deal with more people. So I think to actually bridge this gap, we have to start from the beginning, where we actually make people or make the women interested. Because like the other ladies spoke, you would realize that many people or many women, of course, they are the center of our conversation, interested in cybersecurity are really going in for the money. So there isn't a lot of genuine interest. Let's see what Dr. Edu is doing every Friday. The interest is there. He's not even paid for it, and he's willing to do it because the passion is there. So genuinely, if we're able to revive the passion of women right from the time they are kids, get them exposed to some of these things so that at least there is a genuine passion for it. They wouldn't be going in it for the money, but because they genuinely want to do it. And people who want to do stuff and solve problems even without getting paid, most often you find out that they are really the high performers. So I think that we can start it from the onset, where the girl child is actually exposed to these things. Let her get used to women, seeing women in this kind of professions, where we demystify the fact that science and mathematics and issues that are related to tech and all that, they are capable of doing it. And when they are confident in themselves from the onset, I think by the time they are grown enough to make career choice decisions, they have already been able to, free their mind off of all the impossibilities that many people actually talk about. So, that's one way we can look at it. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Ahmed. So we'll take Renee. So right after Renee, Brian, don't even wait for me. Right after Renee, you can go ahead, and also Jermaine. So Renee, Brian, and Jermaine, you can just go ahead right after the other person is done. Thank you.
Am I next?
Yes, please, Renee,
okay.
Please go ahead.
Okay, so what I want to say is I've heard several people make statements about women in cybersecurity. I never thought in my lifetime that I would be interested in that career. So I just started really looking into it and getting into it. And so far, I do like what I see. I love the information that I'm learning. And one of the things that I'm doing right now, I am a licensed public adjuster. And for those of you who don't know what a public adjuster is, we are advocates for homeowners. So one of the things that I think Ahmed said, he was saying something about women have a passion for nursing and the love for taking care of people. Well, one of the things that I got involved was, as a public adjuster, is the fact that we look out for the homeowners. Instead of the insurance company, we look out for the homeowners. So this was a way for me to reach out and give back to my community, because I'm in Northern Virginia and we're all spread out. So you need a car to drive anywhere. So it's not like New York where you can catch the subway, but I'm originally from Philadelphia. So I know about the L's and, the traffic. So just to say that I was thinking about we as women having a networking event. And with our company that I work for, we do a lot of Zoom events. Like our organization that we belong to, everything is done through Zoom. We can also have people attend the event, but I was thinking of a networking event where we could invite for women, a networking event for women, so that we can talk about cybersecurity. We can educate them about cybersecurity. We don't have to wait to go to the church. You can have the churches come to us. You can have the school system come to us. So why not invite them to one of our events? And I know, Dr. Emmanuel, you're in New York, and I know we're trying to find a location to have an event. But for starters, I think one way we can reach out to the women is to actually invite them to a Zoom event, and it would be a networking event so we can share each other's stories. So I'm just throwing that out there. That's just one thing that I thought of, but I just wanted to let you know what I was thinking about and how I felt. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Renee. Point noted. I think we will add it to our list of to-do stuff. Michael, go ahead.
Yep, you got it, Brian. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Just to touch on what Ahmad said earlier, with when he said that women sometimes like to deal more with people. The good thing is in cybersecurity, you're still dealing with people, because we're talking about people, processes, and technology. And people are the most important things. So there's a way that we could teach women, if it is the fact that they love dealing with more people, that we can, teach them that this is a people business. This is a people getting to know people, getting to help people, getting to let them know that people are in need. So cybersecurity is just not the technology part of it. Of course, it is important, but also it is going to deal with people. And also wanted to touch on events that how we can also talk to people. Sometimes I believe that when we're on Facebook and we're on Instagram, we'll see some of our friends and family say, man, I can't stand this job that I'm going to. And we don't say anything. I think the conversation has to start and say, look, I seen that you said you didn't like your job. Why don't you come on to this event that's free every Friday and listen to a possible career that you could get into? And also with people that you have, family and friends, let's just say they have a computer problem and you know how to fix it. And let's just say you fix it. You can have the conversation and they say, wow, I'm glad you fixed my computer. You can say, you know, you can get paid for this, right? And then they're like, what you mean I get paid for this? And then just start the conversation from there and invite them into an event or something like that on a Friday night so that they can listen in and see the possibilities of joining into cybersecurity.
All right, thanks, Brian. Jermaine, please go ahead.
Hello, everyone. I just want to make a one point that I think is very crucial. Inviting people is fine. Convincing them, I mean, women is fine. But I think that we want to be able to be there for them anytime they need us to back them up. We all know that this field is not easy to get into it. Even if you got a job, you need to be able to throw somebody and call the person anytime you need a person to be able to, can help you keep the job. But if you are in this by yourself, it's not gonna be easy. You know, you got all the training, but like I said, you need to tell the person that I'll be there for you anytime. Just call and I'll help you out. If I can figure it out, we might find a way to get answer together. I think that encouragement will lead women to be able to stay there, focus, and do it. Without that, it couldn't be very hard because everyone here that got job, if nobody was there for them, backing them up, it's going to be hard. It's going to be very, very hard. That's my 2 cents on that. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Jermaine. Cynthia, please go ahead.
Yes, I just want to confirm what Jermaine was saying just now. When you get into this field and you don't have anyone to help you, sometimes you will result in crying. Because though even from you have people from a distance, like me, the field that I got into, even though I started with Dr. You know that Dr. Adus is mostly into like the cyber security, like at mine is RMF, and it wasn't into details with Dr. Adus course. So if I didn't have people that I could go to their house and see actually what they were doing, I would have dropped out by now, or they would have fired me by now. Because I'm just confirming, sometimes you really need someone to hold your hand and walk you through it, the process. Otherwise, you will just mess up and either you will leave or they'll fire you. So yeah, we need to hold each other's hand if we are in the field already, to encourage them, to help them continue working. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Cynthia. I believe, Brian, please go ahead.
Real quick to touch on that. What would be an amazing idea is, just give an example. If all the women on here were to put together a separate group on WhatsApp and they came together, let's just say once a week, and they put their heads together and they taught each other the different concepts of cybersecurity that they may not understand. And they would teach this person this and teach this person that. I'm telling you, with the beautiful minds that come together, they could take over the world. It would be amazing.
Word, Brian. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Let me go through the chat here just to make sure I'm not missing anybody. Okay, so we can go ahead and take our next question. So the gender pay gap pretty much persists in many industries, right? Of course, in cybersecurity is no exception. So women may typically earn less than their male counterparts, like for the same role and responsibilities, right? So the two-pronged question is, why do you think this is so? That's number one. And number two, what can employers do to mitigate this issue? And I'll repeat the question one more time. The gender pay gap persists in many industries, right? Including cybersecurity. Women typically they do earn less as compared to their male counterparts with respect to the same job role, responsibilities, and everything, right? Why do you think we have this issue? And two, what can employers do to mitigate this problem?
Hello.
And anybody can start.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
This is
looks
Brian.
like Brian. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't think it's just with women, but also men. A lot of people don't know that when they go for an interview and they get a proposal, and they the hiring manager, gives them a proposal how much they could make. A lot of people don't know that this is most times negotiable. Let's just say that they offer you $100,000 a year. They're never going to offer you their highest bid because they're trying to keep money into the company on a budget. So if they could have offered you 140, they're going to start off with the lower numbers of 100. And a lot of people, when they see the 100, either they get excited and say, okay, I'll just take that. Let me get that. I'll get that, when they could have made 140. So they shortchanged themselves, or they just didn't know, or they're scared to negotiate that pay, because it's always negotiable. Never be afraid to negotiate a pay. Just because you negotiate doesn't mean they're going to say, oh, well, since you want to negotiate, we're going to pick somebody else. It never happens that way. The salary is always, most times, negotiable. So I think we need to start there, is that some people don't know that they can, ask for a negotiation of their salary when they're proposed this pay.
Yeah, very great insight. So that's a very, very good point, Brian. Yeah, go ahead, Cynthia.
Yes, it's just to follow up with what Brian said. I don't think they pay women less. It is your bargaining power. Like me, what I'm doing now, I in the first place, I was scared at the beginning in the interview and everything. So when I had this opportunity, I jumped to it. And even though, like, to me, I know other people were taking higher than that, the pay that they offered me, but I accepted it because already I was struggling getting the job. But now I say to myself that in my next job, oh my God, I will go high, because now I know what it entails and everything. So I don't think, even if you're a man and they offer you a small amount, or like to you, you might think it is okay. But if you are not in the field and you don't know how much people are getting, or you don't know, like, you don't have the skills, so you don't know how to defend it, you also end up getting that small amount of money. But then if you know what you say, and right now, like, I'm even in a job already, so I don't even care what you say. If I go up and you don't want to give me, I'll just let go of you and then move to the next one. So it is you knowing like having the skills and then being able to bargain. Because when you are scared and you don't know what you are saying, whatever they offer you, the fear of you losing it and maybe struggling to get into it, you just say, like, you just go. Because I remember during those days that I used to contact Dr. Edu, when you mentioned, I said, what, this is too small, you can get more. But when I got this one and they offered me, like, they told me the job is about to, like, they bought into whatever I said and they are hiring me, and they started talking about the money, I couldn't go up. I even suggested higher, but when they said no, I said, okay, I'll take it higher, because I was scared I would lose it. But now my next job, oh my God, I will let them know that I know what I'm talking about. That's what it goes. So it's on both sides. If you know how to bargain here, you get it. Thank you.
All right, great insight, Cynthia. I appreciate that. Renee, please go ahead.
Okay. In the United States of America, it has always been that women got paid less than men. And they're trying to change that. But I think if they change the way they think, because most of the time when you're interviewed by a male, you will always seem to get less than your other counterpart. I can do the same job, know the same thing, and I will still get paid less money than my other male counterpart. So that is a true fact, and stats don't lie. I don't know what we can do, but I just think if we change the mindset of the companies that are doing it, because some companies have changed, but they're not there yet. We have always gotten less than the male counterparts. Always. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Renee. Sydney, please go ahead.
Hi, everyone. I was just laughing when listening to Cynthia and Renee. I think we have two factors here: the system and individuals, us as our gender, right? When I got my first job, my friends were telling me, "Oh, did you bargain?" I said, "Bargain what? 110 for the first job in America? Bargain that?" He said, "No, you can bargain." I said, "Do you want them to change your mind?" So for me, I quite understand from Cynthia's point of view, like you, especially when you remember where you're coming from, you can't start that. So even if it's there in the system, they might still take advantage of the fact that, man, people need this job. And when you see that opportunity come by, you don't want it to just go like that. And except the system changes, we might want to think along that side. But seriously, the market is not playing. The market is not playing at all.
All right, thank you so much, Sydney. Ileko, please go ahead.
Yeah, so when it comes to pay, sometimes it's I agree with, I think it was Renee. I was actually surprised because I'm from Kenya. And when they advertise a job, they advertise the job and the pay. So whether you're female or male, and I don't know, things may have changed. I haven't been in Kenya for a while. So whether it's male or female filling the position comes with a salary. So I was very shocked when I came to school here and I would hear things like, two different people get the same job, different pay. And I'd be like, how is that even possible? That was something I had to adjust to. So it is possible for that to happen. Now, sometimes, although, I don't know if that's baked in the system, because again, at work, you are not encouraged to discuss pay. For example, you cannot, tell, "Oh, I earned so much," and the other person. So apparently it's like frowned upon, and some people have been fired for telling people what they earn. So basically, I think one of the things to do to make sure you're not being stiffed too much as a female is try to research what the industry says. So for example, if there are some websites where you can go and they give a range of this job pays between this much and this much. And, a company is basically lowballing you. You can say, "Hey, this I understand is the industry average. Can we at least work with that?" So you at least have, you give them a sense of, I have an idea of what is average in this industry, and you're not just being lowballed because they can get away with it. I would say that's my suggestion. And then also, of course, I think I was interviewing for a particular job, and I try to find out from somebody, okay, so for example, this particular job in this place, what would be a fair remuneration? I was not asking for her papers particularly, but I wanted to get a good sense of, and she's like, well, it doesn't, I really can't tell you. And I was like, wait, you're working in the field, right? Why can't you give me a ballpark? So when they're discussing pay with me, although we never continued far with that interview, I was just kind of taken aback because I thought, okay, this is somebody in the, you know, within the Eretmis family. Surely they could be more forthcoming than somebody who is not. So I was also surprised with that.
All right, thank you so much. So Brian, you can go ahead, and after Brian, KGA.
Yes, just wanted to give a tip to everybody here in the beginning phases as well. When recruiters reach out to you, they'll tell you about the position, and sometimes they won't tell you right up front about the pay. And a good question to ask is, what is the budget for this position that you are telling me about? And most HR or recruiters will tell you the truth when they tell you the budget. Some may not, but that's a good starting point to see, would this position be worth it going through the whole process or not, just by starting there. So just wanted to say that. And also, when I was talking about, I heard the women saying, like, you know, I had never made this much money before, so I took that first position, and that's great, and I'm so proud of y'all. But the good thing is, if you are wanting to negotiate, the only thing you have to ask when they give you an offer is just say, I'm ready to start, and I thank you for the offer. I just wanted to know, is this negotiable? And that's it. That's not going to ding you and say, oh goodness, we're not going to hire this person. It's just as simple, is this negotiable? And if they say no, then say, great, I can't wait to get started. If they say yes, then you can go from there.
All right, thank you so much. Yeah, so KJA, after KJA, Teresa will go, and we all know it's Labor Day weekend. We want to give some time to the whole team. So we'll take 2 more questions after that, and we can call it a night because of the Labor Day weekend. Thanks, everyone. So KJA, please go ahead.
Right. Thank you, Michael, and thank you everyone on the on here. And I kind of really in line with just what my Brian just said. So I believe that basically it's not about I see it as both male and female. It all depend on your bargaining power, as most of my colleagues counterparts have already said. So, for instance, as Brian was just speaking, a recruiter calls you, and it starts from there. So if they telling you, okay, I'm going to give you 50 an hour, whatever it is, and you just take it 50 an hour, okay, that's on you. I mean, but it's your right. You have to know, okay, what is the budget on this job? I mean, or you should know where where you fall within. Okay, so oftentimes we don't have that confidence in us. We're thinking, okay, I'm just going in, so you know, I just have to go low. No, that's not it. Once you know what you're worth, okay. Once you know what you're worth, I believe that you should be able to have a dialogue and negotiate and talk about it. Like, okay, for instance, I had a call about I think just this afternoon. A recruiter reached out to me, and then it's about GLC analyst, and then so the conversation was how much was the budget. So he was talking about 50, and I said no, this is too low. I'm not ready for that. So you got to come back. So we schedule a talk to have a talk on coming Tuesday. So we're going to talk more. So I'm just trying to let us know that you have the bargaining power, either female or male. When they call you and you don't talk about, or you can even wait after, you can start off, and after the interview, you get the job.
before you sign your offer letter, you propose an increment, and that's also another strategy to adapt. And to my knowledge, somebody have already said to me that most of the time, they always have about room to about 20,000 to cover up. That's a budget. Even whatever that they want to offer you, you already have a room up to 20,000 to cover up. So you have a room to also bargain for that. So that's my little. And also, I can also say that some of those things are also coming from the employers. And this is where I would encourage my sisters on the line. When you go out there, let's try to build our confidence. Okay, male or female. And I know that there's some women also who are making more than some male on the same field here as we hear. There's some females who are also occupying some strategic and high positions and making really, really good money out there. How did they come back? Because they spoke what they know and they own it. They learn and they know what they have. I mean, they know what they know. They have the skill. They have what they can. They have what it takes for them to be there. So I will encourage my sisters on the line. Please, you get a job or you get an offer. Speak out. If you don't speak out, it's come on you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Teresa, please go ahead.
Okay, so what I just want to add, just like what our brother just said, you have to know when to negotiate for something higher. Because I realized that after my first training in cybersecurity, I heard that the salary is good, and some of them will come right up front that, hey, what are you hoping to get from this role? And for the ones that I said an amount, some never came back. So I realized that it's better to push it to the end. And so what I did was that if you ask me, I would say, I just want to know more about the role, speak with you, and then I can come up with something. Because usually some of them don't want to be upfront to just say the amount, and they are looking at you to say the amount that you are looking for so that they can shortlist their candidate list. So one job that I had, I just read about how you can negotiate. I waited till the last end that I was given my offer letter, everything signed, the company, everything. And then I just asked the person that, hey, is this negotiable? Okay, we can. So with me asking that, they came back like almost 10,000 more added. So just like Cynthia mentioned, it boils down to your experience and then also your bargaining power. If you don't have much experience in what you are going to do, of course, you're not going to get that confidence to even negotiate. So just let's bear in mind, know when to negotiate, know when to even talk about money. If you do too early, some of them might shortlist you and leave you out of their pack that they are shortlisting. So your experience and then the confidence to also, just like other folks have mentioned, nobody would say after you've got your offer letter, they've already made others go, and maybe you are the only person left. At that point, they will do everything to accommodate you. And if they can't go any further too, they will be honest with you. So it all boils down to sometimes your experience and then also your confidence to bargain for something higher. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Teresa. Christabel, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. So just like everybody has said, I think it all comes down to just how much you can ask for. Being in HR and public policy for a couple of years, for years now, what we usually do is we know how much each position is worth. We don't tell people how much it is until they ask us. So at the end of the year, if we make money, meaning the HR or public, whatever money left, we use it for other things. But when people come in and they're able to squeeze us to get whatever they deserve or more, we don't have a choice than to give it to them. So this is just a little thing that I'm throwing out there. We always do our best to use what is left from what we were supposed to pay you guys to add to our budget so that at the end of the year, we can give it to the bosses as bonuses and stuff like that. So it's part of the policy that we play in HR field. So that's all I can say. So ask and it shall be given to you. Thank you.
Of course, thank you so much, Christabel, and seek and ye shall find for sure. Allison, please go ahead.
All right, thank you. I will add into what Cynthia was saying. In relation to usually what happens is whenever you're starting out, I would say both for male and female, you tend, starting out in cybersecurity to be specific, we tend to, of course, you come with just the knowledge, but without majorly the deep skill or anything. So you tend to jump onto whatever offer they're giving. But one thing I've learned is you may jump onto it, you may jump onto an offer that's being given, of course, without the confidence of, okay, I'm starting out and stuff. The thing is, once you get into the job, there is always that time of, let me say, 6 months or 3 months appraisal or probation, then they can rethink your salary or something like that. But usually what I would encourage anyone doing it, the starting bit may be a little tricky because you don't know what to expect depending on what yes, you saw what's being off, what's the standard of offer or how much other people are getting. But the thing is, when you get in the job, add value to yourself, like learn as much as you can. By the time, even when, let me say, that appraisal period comes, or that time comes where they're like, okay, you have a greater chance of saying, okay, this is what I add, this is how I've added value into myself. This is like, you have way more confidence to even bargain, to even speak out about your salary. That, let me say, within 3 months or 1 year, within the 6 months after probation, that you are prone to be increased because of how much value you have, how much you've learned, how much you've invested in, that you are too valuable to the company, that they also recognize it, and they're like, all right, it's okay for them to give you. So that's what I would encourage people to do.
All right, thank you. Eleko, please go ahead.
Yeah, so I think there's no cookie cutter process for figuring out how much you should be or will be paid. But I would say probably the most important thing is, well, first of all, some companies, like I've been putting out some applications, they want you to state before you even complete your job application on their website, you must give a figure of how much you expect to make. So of course, if you just want to go through the interview, then given that I'm also I'm in IT, but I'm not in cyber. So just to go through the interviews, sometimes I lowball the figure, or when I give, because I believe I shouldn't make less than what I'm making right now, then most of the time, it's probably a little higher than they're willing to pay. And many times I've not been invited to actually go to the interview. So that's one thing. If you just want to go through the process of, getting a few interviews under your belt, maybe lowball the pay when you must provide a figure to be able to go through even the application process. And then the second thing I would suggest is do your research. When you do your research on the company and then what are the salary ranges, if you really want that job, then you kind of have an idea of where you need to push. And then the other thing I was told, at least in school, is you never bring up the salary. Let them bring it up. And then when they do, that's when you say you have those questions, come back of, okay, how much was budgeted for this position? Or, what has been previously paid for the position? Or can say, this is what I'm currently making. Is that within the range? You know, depending on if you want to get the same pay or a little higher, or, you know, you're willing to move, whatever. So I think it's really, you have to study like what's going on. Are these people trying to ask the range so they can, you know, limit the number of applicants they're going to interview? You know, maybe given that your resumes are about the same, then of course they'll probably go for the person who's willing to take less. So there's different ways, you know, you study, you be environmentally aware, and then decide, you know, how best to place yourself to be able to get the better pay.
All right, thank you so much, Eleko. Brian, please go ahead.
I'll be real quick. Just wanted to give people another tip real quick. When it comes to the interviewer asking you, well, how much would you like to make, or how much did you want to be compensated for? The most important thing you want to do is, when you are looking for a job, research that position and see what the range is. And then when they ask you that question, you say, you know what, that's a great question. I've been doing my research, and I know that, example, this position for GRC, it ranges from 126K to 156K. I don't have an exact number, but I do know that if you feel that I'm fit for the position and you feel that my skills will be a great fit for the company, I know that you'll compensate me well. Thank you.
Like that. That's very good, Brian. Thanks for sharing that. All right. So we'll take our last question. Like I said, it's a Labor Day weekend. We're trying to give some time so you spend with your family and whatnot. So we'll take one last question, and we'll wrap it up. So this is like a two-pronged question. So some organizations may lack policies that support like women's needs. Example, like maternity leave, flexible work arrangements, like childcare facilities or whatnot, right? So how can companies do a better job in hiring more women for cybersecurity? And I'll repeat this question one more time. Most or some organizations may lack policies that support women's needs, such as maternity leave, flexible work arrangements, and also like childcare facilities. So in general, how can companies do a better job in hiring more women, looking at some of these problems? All right, Leko, please, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I think this, maybe Dr. Adu should be in a better position to answer this question. I think it's more like from an employer perspective, but I think also in the US, I believe it would be against the law to not give maternity leave. Maybe a few years back, that was a thing, but I believe now going, you know, as of now, leave, medical leave, maternity leave, and just paid leave are part of the law. If there are companies that are not paying their employees for that, that's actually illegal. But also I recognize that there are some, I recognize that there are some small employers that cannot really, you know, maybe can work with, like, can offer like part-time, not necessarily full-time, so they are within the law requirements of the law. Then I believe it would be up to the employee to like vocalize their challenges and try, especially if the employer is not in a position to, or maybe financially able to accommodate a lot of these other things that bigger, more established companies have. And, you know, try to work on as needed basis. That would be my suggestion.
All right, thank you so much, Ileko. Omoze, please go ahead.
I think it's an interesting question because, and this is an interesting session because a lot of the work we see today, the way work comes from it's a lot of these policies come from a certain era, an older generation, and we've just carried the tradition up to now, and it would be up to the employer to say, okay, we know these are older traditions, patriarchal, if you will, and we need to open how we think of work, how we tailor work to other genders, particularly women and other race of women and their needs, but they have to want to do it. And they have to understand the difference between like the policies that we have now, the history of these policies, that kind of prevent women even latently from not wanting to get into these industries. That being said, there are organizations that do a good job of supporting women in regards to when a woman is pregnant or they need childcare. Even with contraception, or contraceptives, they're very adamant about being vocal about these things, and it's in their policies. You can go on their LinkedIn, you can read these things, but I feel like a lot of larger companies still aren't there yet. And they have to want to get there, but the question is, if we want more Black women, especially, or women of color, to get into these spaces, they have to want to let go of some of these older patriarchal norms, which I think could also benefit men too, how the 9 to 5, be at the job 5 days a week, sitting at a cubicle for 8 hours. Apparently it doesn't really work. It doesn't fit everybody's rhythm or even hormonal. There's so many deeper aspects to this topic, but again, they got to want to do it. Those up top.
All right, great insight, Tomose. Thank you so much. Cynthia, please go ahead.
Okay. I think employers should provide a medium or means for feedback from employees. It could be in a form of surveys or like during conferences when they ask. And the women, we should also speak up. And when we are giving these feedbacks or when we are responding to like surveys or whatever questions that may come in any form, if like we have boxes that we have to put in something, if we voice out what we want, or if like we are in a company and we see that they are not giving us those benefits, and I'm sure majority of us keep pinpointing them or bringing them out like in the form of suggestions or whatever, companies are going to adhere to our needs and then change things for us. So companies need to provide that medium for us. And then when the medium is available, we should also put up what we want or what we think should happen for us. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Cynthia. Just going around the room, just making sure I'm not missing anyone. I think that would be it. But yeah, great insights from everyone. I know this has been very, very great and very insightful to everybody. But one thing that I did want to say or add is one time in the military, what I saw, military, they were lacking a lot of female pilots. So what they did, they created like a specific program for female pilots, right? And one included like a huge sign-on bonus. So in the same vein, I think most employers, if they do that, of course, I know sign-on bonus cuts across both male and female, but if they can focus more on a female, I think it would be a very good way. That's my humble opinion will be a very good way to also encourage females to move into cybersecurity. All right, I think there's a question in here for you, Dr. Du. So, okay, I think you already addressed it in the chat. I don't know if you want to throw more light on that, but.
Yeah, sure, Michael. So I think it was, is it Tunde that was asking if there's any entrepreneurial program for all our sisters in the Eretmis family and for some of our PCI students or in the cyberspace in general. We have the Eretmis, the PCI partnership program that is currently on hold because of time constraints. We are thinking about, I mean, that is coming back most definitely. But from that group, we will probably also have, we are thinking about setting one up that is going to be just women, right? And also not just for entrepreneurial aspect of it, but for to create that platform for like women to share ideas, and for those who are already in the industry to share what they are doing and to help others who are trying to get into the industry. We've been doing that, but not on a large scale. So mostly if like you are going to an interview or you have any specific problem and we have like another lady in the same area, we will link you up in the family. That way they can help you out, right? So we are building gradually. We are going to get to the point where we will have that, you know, in a large, like on a large scale, where we'll be able to help, you know, ourselves out. And like that is not only going to be, we are going to start that off with the ladies, but then the men can also tap into that knowledge as well, you know, when we have it ready, set up and going. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yes, it does. If I can just expatiate more, that
okay.
I know you are the brain behind all these things, right? So you are more experienced than us. I want us to just look beyond us taking your training to get a job. I want you to just look at the opportunity that, okay, what if I don't want a job? Are there any things along the supply chain of cybersecurity that I can offer a consultancy service or be on my own? So it's just for the future, something that you can think about and just share with us.
Yeah. So I'm all about, you know, setting up something like, first off, the cyberspace is huge. Opportunities, I mean, endless, right? Everybody on here can have a huge multi-million cybersecurity company, and there still would be so much space to fill, right? So, but it's not everybody who is wired that way to set up business, to take that risk, to keep pushing, to go get contracts, to get denied, right? Not everybody is set up that way. But for folks who are interested in that, I think Ronnie is not on here, but I spoke to Ronnie, and Ronnie is one of our sisters. I spoke to her a couple of times. She reached out. She's doing something on those lines. We're trying to set up something. But for folks who are interested in this, I'm always about that. So for even if you are just coming into cybersecurity, you have nothing, right? Even if you just get the foundation, you can go into security awareness training. Cybersecurity awareness training is a huge booming industry, right? And the folks you are going to teach, you obviously know more than them. You are teaching them how to protect themselves against phishing and other common, you know, attacks, social engineering, and the rest. So opportunity-wise, in terms of business, you don't necessarily have to take the training and go work, right? Or you don't even have to take the training at all. You can set up a cybersecurity company without knowing anything in cybersecurity, employ people to work for you, right? So if you have that business acumen to go about it. So it's like me setting up a hospital. I don't have to be a doctor or a nurse. I can set up a hospital and not know anything. All I have to know is the business aspect of it and how to run it. I can, you know, bring the people on, and they are going to, there's that, just like how you can set up a pharmacy without you being a pharmacist, right? But mostly for me, when it comes to business, there's something we call activity knowledge. So although you don't necessarily have to be, you know, be working in that industry, it's good to acquire, and most especially for the security space, right? If you set up a consultancy and you yourself as the owner, you have the knowledge and skill, it's going to help, because just you might not have the money to, start off and start paying people 100K plus, right? So if you know something, you can execute some of the work. Then maybe you can start somebody off as part-time, and as time goes on, you're getting more clients, you can bring on more people. So anybody who is interested in that, we'll actually be doing one cyber chat on how to set up a cybersecurity company, or like any IT company, how to go about the whole entire process, how to look for government contracts, proposals, how to go about proposals. So for our PCI partnership program, that is what we do. So they got to the point where we actually even bid for one contract, but they just froze the contract. So we didn't even get to proceed. I mean, they didn't select anybody, they just put it on hold. So yes, I mean, I'm all about business. I'm all about, and like the cyberspace, like I keep saying, it's like buying a yellow cab in New York. There are millions of them there. Yours is also going to, be part of the millions and still make a lot of money. So there is enough, or like too much room for everybody on here. I can tell you that for a fact. So if you're interested in that, I mean, just stay tuned. As we are, going about cyber chats, we will come up with such a program, like a mentorship program for folks who want to set up a cybersecurity consulting company and keep pushing. But setting up a business is not easy. So you have to be up to the tax, and you have to be willing to put in the work. There is no shortcuts. You have to be willing to put in the work, and you have to be willing to take a lot of no's, right? So, but I know some folks are on here who have businesses in other industries already. So you have the business knowledge and that drive. So it's very easy to switch, get into other areas as well. So yeah, something that is something that is in the pipelines also as well. Yeah. So great question, Tunde. Great question. I think Cynthia, go ahead, Cynthia.
Yes, I just want to chip in something small. I know the people here are doing a lot. We are helping. I just want to add that those of us who have people coming to us during their interview preparation, like when they have interviews and they come to us for help, when we are teaching them how to answer the questions, please, let's put ourselves in it. That was one thing I realized was not helping me, because I wasn't in the field. It was hard for me to speak to it. So I had Mr. Edu, if you remember, you introduced Linda, and then Ernest too was in the program with, like when I was doing it, Ernest was there with it. So those two were my coaches. They helped me. I didn't take any RMF course, but they helped me with their coaches. And one thing that Ernest realized that I was doing is anytime he was teaching me and he was saying, you do this, you do that, he was using you, then he will finish and tell me to now summarize it. Then he asked me the question, tell me. Because he was using you, I didn't know how to put myself into it. Until he turned it around, then he said, okay, I'm going to tell you what I do every day. In the morning, I open my email, I check my calendar. Then he used the I. Then I was able to speak to it. Now I am also just repeating what he was saying, using myself, I. So in an interview, the RMF, that was my first interview and I got the job. So when we are teaching the people, let's give them the terms. And that was Linda too was doing that, the terms. If they ask this is, and this is this and this, and that is what they want, say it, let's summarize it for them. Because if we explain it broad, they are not in the field. So it is hard for them to summarize whatever we have taught them. Fine, I know, like we try to explain it so that they get the basic of everything, but let's please summarize it, because all they need now is to get into the job. Then maybe they can come to you when they need help to execute it. Then you can explain it in the broad terms. So, I mean, I just want to put that some of us have had the opportunity for people to come to us to help them in interviews when they are going for their interviews. Let's summarize it and put it ourselves in it, that say like how we will answer it. Let's say it for them in that way instead of explaining it to them how the whole thing is.
Okay.
Thank
you, Cynthia. And people are asking for your contacts in the chat. So if you can put your WhatsApp, your LinkedIn in there, and also for all our resource folks and the ladies, if you can put your LinkedIn's in there, that way you can link up. And like I said last week, for not just everybody who was able to join tonight, but for the ladies on the platform, you can also, we can set up that ladies hangout where you can meet weekly to discuss cybersecurity and folks who want to get in and those who are already in, just spread the knowledge around, right? So I think on that note, we are at a very good stopping point. Anything else, Michael?
No, that'll be it. You just covered it. I know I had some people reach out to me to connect with Cynthia. So you already, hit the nail right on the head. So please, Cynthia, if you can do the honors, we'll appreciate that. Thanks, everybody.
All right, everyone. We appreciate your time. It's Labor Day weekend. We wish you all the best and have a great weekend. Enjoy the weekend. Stay safe. And for all folks, for us at Eretmis Academy, we are doing a 30% Labor Day sale. So it's on the website. If you go there, you'll be able to see eretmisacademy.com. So if you've not taken any of our free training, also on there, you can take the Cybersecurity for Beginners and also the PCI for Beginners on eretmisacademy.com. And you can always reach out for help. We have a WhatsApp group that you can also join. That platform, we post everything on there for Cyber Chat and the rest on there. So if you would like to be part of that group, you can also put your details in the chat and we will put you on there as well. I appreciate everybody's time. We are wrapping up. Have a great weekend, and we are going to meet next week, Friday, for another edition of Cyber Chat. Stay blessed.
Thank you.